This week on his radio show, Howard Stern defended wokeism, saying it's a compliment when someone calls him woke. Listen.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, well, dude, call me woke as you want. I'm not for stupidity, but I am woke, motherfucker, and I love it.
Dear, he swore. That'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons.
Well, I watch, I know some of them, and like Howard, I was on Howard Stern show as much as anybody, and
yeah.
he was great at that time, and then he went woke.
Yeah.
And since he's gone woke, his ratings have been...
Howard Stern didn't just sell out, he held a clearance sale on his entire legacy. And Greg Gutfeld and Donald Trump showed up with receipts and pyrotechnics. Once the king of controversy, now the butler of boring. Stern's change is so ridiculous, it virtually screams for mocking. Gutfeld cuts with wit. Trump bulldozes with joy. And together, they turn Stern's fall from fearless to forgettable into a hilarious roast you won't want to miss. This isn't a comeback. It's a comedy special.
Because he criticizes Trump for dividing the country, and then he's his supporters. So he's not learning from his own analysis. I think he might have turned into the thing he hated. He needs to go back and watch the private parts and focus on how he portrayed Don Imus, because he's kind of turned into Don Imus in a way. It's a mix of ego and...
Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, It was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like so...
Howard Stern, the self-crowned king of all media, is now the king of all meltdowns. It's a bizarre thing witnessing a guy who made a career flinging verbal Molotov cocktails at the system suddenly morph into a gated community gossip ant who clutches pearls at the very idea of independent thought. If irony were a currency, Howard would be producing money quicker than the Fed during a pandemic. This is the man who once hissed at uniformity, and now moonwalks into every mainstream story like he's auditioning for a cameo in a CNN Puff article.
But that's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine, or hearing Kat about her pets.
It's fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is, going all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court and back.
C. Greg Gutfeld didn't even need a complete monologue to trash the current version of Howard. Just a mirror. That's all it would take. Howard looks at what he used to be versus what he's become. It's not a transformation. It's a comprehensive system reset with a software upgrade written in fear, hypocrisy, and hand sanitizer. And here comes Trump. Not with subtlety, but with the rhetorical equivalent of a sledgehammer duct-taped to a bald eagle. Watching Trump reference Howard Stern today is like seeing a rock star laugh at the wedding DJ. He's not upset, he's bewildered.
Opposite of woke to me is asleep, and I think I'm awake. This must have gotten Trump all charged up, because at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, technically Sunday morning, he starts tweeting out, Howard Stern is a broken loser, jerk off, not loyal, the usual, tirade. And I thought to myself, I'll tell you my thought on it was,
Stern went from the guy who punched buttons to the person who seeks permission before pushing the microwave one. Remember, when Howard used to be edgy, back when he made late-night hosts anxious and radio stations walk on eggshells, now he makes Joy Behar look like a stand-up at a biker rally. He's not edgy. He's sanded down, polished, and shrink-wrapped for your safety. Greg Gutfeld points at Stern's narrative like a comedian, pointing out the irony of a Hollywood award speech. This was the rebel, he mocks. The guy who once ridiculed celebs for being detached is now collecting autographs on the same boat deck he used to hurl shade at.
Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, John Hamm, Jack Thoreau, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with
He used to drag superstars by their egos. Now he's their pool boy. The Stern of today is scared of cancellation, as if the internet is waiting outside his window, with pitchforks and hashtags. Then I dropped him, and High dropped him like a dog, and his ratings are really challenging. Very challenged, which to be fair is probably true, but the Howard of old wouldn't have cared. That person would have gone on air and dared them to try.
Howard, I knew him very well. I was on his show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him, and I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged.
This version, he'll pre-apologize for a joke he hasn't even made yet. It's not evolution. It's backward growth. Benjamin Button's PR arc. Trump, on the other hand, chuckles at Howard's dissent, the same way a lion laughs at a declawed cat trying to roar. He doesn't need to do much. Just living in the same chronology is enough to make Stern short-circuit into another manufactured panic. Howard's so frightened of offending anyone that he wouldn't even toast bread without verifying if the gluten lobby is alright with it. Meanwhile, Gutfeld, armed with the smugness of 10 Ivy League professors and the charm of a barstool philosopher.
So vote for that wall over there.
Well, he's half right. We do need a wall. To keep out gang members, dealers, human traffickers, and Anna Navarro. What's funny, though, is that Stern actually thought that was a Clement. Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that
blasts down Stern's new identity like it's a comedy character nobody asked for. He calls him out, not just for being false, but for being boring, which in journalism is a sin worse than lying. At least a liar keeps you wondering. Howard, he's become a replay of his own bad actions. It's almost heartbreaking watching someone who once stood for unfiltered revolt become a hall monitor for the awakened brigade. The person used to bulldoze borders. Now, he's too terrified to jaywalk. Gutfeld, with his typical sneer, joked that Howard's microphone should come with a seatbelt and an apology manual.
I find that his definition of wokeism is very simplistic. I mean, it's like, it's not about COVID jabs.
I didn't get that either. He was like, I love the vaccine. I'm woke.
It's not unlike Howard Stern. I mean, talk about a transition. On Tuesday, he conducted an interview with Kamala Harris that was so simpering and feminine. I got my period.
He's gone from Roastmaster to Roach Motel for Hollywood's most repeated opinions. He used to bite his hands. Now he's licking boots, not even premium boots. Just the generic ones from the bargain department of elite approval. And the irony is Howard thinks he's still the renegade. He's got this notion that merely stating, "I used to be wild," gives him street cred, like a guy wearing a leather jacket in a retirement home, still recounting war stories no one asked for.
I watched them on Saturday Night Live with the where they had Maya Rudolph playing you. Mm-hmm. I hate it. I don't want you made fun of.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
There's too much stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now. I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about. This is a guy who once joked right after the Columbine massacre, killers should have raped the students before killing them. Not that I like that.
4. Howard's numbers used to be the envy of every network executive. Now they're a PowerPoint slide nobody wants to read. The audience didn't disappear. They just grew up and recognized the rebel was faking it. Howard didn't lose his viewers. He abandoned them for a higher Yelp review from his celebrity connections. Greg Gutfeld brings it home with the kind of comedy napalm that only works when it's true. He doesn't merely lampoon Stern's fall from grace. He highlights the void left behind. Lecture him. That'd be like a balloon scolding a tank.
Brave to take this stance after you've made 300, 400 million not being woke, right? Loving Donald Trump, exploiting the mentally ill, wearing blackface. Look at the crop of woke comments, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel, his BFF, Sarah Silverman, Joy Behar, Michael Ian Black. What do they all have in common? They wore blackface. And then they went woke. It's not like in her egg thing there. You know what order it came. So I call BFR, it's blackface reparations. There's nothing in Stern's previous career withstand this modern witch hunt that he...
One burst of honest discourse, and Howard flies off into the void, holding his vintage ego like it's a life raft. The old Howard would have lighted up this whole situation, fired rounds at everyone, and stood in the flames. The new Howard, he's checking with his producers if it's allowed to even have a provocative stance. He's camouflaging, and terribly. Even chameleons change color with more conviction. Now he hosts parties. Gutfeld delivers the final insult. Not because Howard is wrong, but that he's uninteresting. For someone who built an empire on shock and awe, becoming a beige-filtered imitation of themselves is the kind of betrayal that even your die-hard admirers can't
Had an exhausting weekend, emotionally, physically. For the first time in 2 years, I been out of the house. Now, maybe he's exaggerating. We all do that. In fact, the more successful you get in media, the more exhausting, the easier.
unsee. Howard Stern didn't rise to a new level. He slipped into the couch cushions of celebrity adulation, surrounded by throw pillows embroidered with lukewarm opinions. And Howard, he can't stop apologizing. And just like that, the self-proclaimed maverick of radio is suddenly just another echo in the canyon of conformity. Once feared, now ignored, once raw.
Swore that'll win over the woke. He's a Huey Newton of the Hamptons. Theory, wokeism is a contagion. Stern got it from Jimmy Kimmel, his new best friend, and Kimmel got it from wife, and his wife got it from where you get all infections, a toilet.
Raw. Now covered in plastic and sold next to the gluten-free department of corporate America, no punchline needed. Howard Stern became the punchline. And the greatest part, there's still more to come. No disguise, no mystery, just a long trail of contradictions in high definition. And while Howard drowns in compliments from those who used to dread him, Gutfeld and Trump are still doing what Howard purported to do for decades, calling out the circus from the outside, not juggling in